Honda started making the Pilot in 2003, and ever since then, it's been one of the most popular three-row SUVs that you can buy in America. And today, we're gonna find out why. So the big question is, why have so many people loved the Pilot over the years? For starters, it's got pretty good gas mileage. It has a 3.5 liter V6, and that gives it 18 city, 25 highway gas mileage for a combined 21.5 miles to the gallon, which is pretty good, especially considering the overall size of the car. And for being a V6, it's actually about the best gas mileage you can get for the V6. Like a lot of SUVs, it has four-wheel drive, and it's pretty nice for road trips. I mean, I've been in this car with 5 adults and 1 car seat, and it still fit everyone pretty well. I will say the back row is a little more cramped, but still fits people pretty well. So the Pilot also gets a 4.4 star safety rating, which is actually pretty good. Most three-row SUVs will get like a 4.3 or 4.5, but the majority of three-row SUVs don't get much lower or higher than that. Honestly, the majority of them are pretty safe to begin with. It's actually pretty rare to find a three-row SUV that gets less than 4 stars or even close to 3 stars. Another thing is that Honda is a really reputable brand, and it's honestly probably one of the biggest reasons why the Pilot's been so popular. Now, the cargo space in the Honda Pilot isn't all that bad either. It has 18 cubic feet with the seats up and 87 with the seats down. Now, with the seats down, that's actually pretty big, but there are obviously other three-row SUVs that have a lot more space. But it does get you a pretty decent amount without having to buy a bus. However, with the seats up, it is pretty limited as far as cargo space, but it's actually pretty on par with what other three-row SUVs have as well, and it's not too bad. However, one of the compromises you have to face with the Honda Pilot is that although it does have a V6 and it gets pretty good gas mileage, that good gas mileage does cost it in horsepower. At least with other three-row SUVs in similar size as far as engine, it's kind of at the bottom for horsepower. The Honda Pilot has 250 horsepower, but other three-row SUVs will have like 260, 280. So it's really not too far off, but it does kind of hit towards the bottom. Another great thing about the Honda Pilot is that they do tend to hold their value pretty well. Obviously, being a high-quality car and being from Honda, the typical three-row SUV in 2013 is tend to keep about 42% of its value, whereas the Honda Pilot in 2013 has retained about 48% of its value. So not a huge difference as far as value retention, but still pretty good. The pricing on the Honda Pilot also does tend to be pretty reasonable. For just about every year of the Honda Pilot, the price is pretty on par with what other people are charging for three-row SUVs. This specific Pilot that I'm driving is a 2013, and the 2013 Pilot gets about 16 complaints per 10,000, which is pretty good. It's actually less than half the average for three-row SUVs in 2013. And all the other years from this generation are just as good, if not better. So if you were to look up the 2013 Honda Pilot on NHTSA.gov, I looked at it this morning. There are 211 complaints. And so I looked into those to see what they're about. It seems that the main consistent issue that people complain about, if anything at all, is the fact that I guess on some models, the brake rotors are warped. And the only other thing is that for some people, the paint started to chip sooner than they thought it would. And that's honestly about it. And the other thing you'd find on NHTSA.gov is, at least right now, it has 6 recalls. Now, I know to a lot of people, recalls sound like a scary thing, but at least I personally see it as the car manufacturer taking responsibility for something that may be wrong with the car, because I'd much rather they try and fix it than just leaving it and then, I'm stuck with the problem. So the 6 recalls, it turns out 5 of the 6 are about more or less the same thing. They're all about one of the front airbags having an issue. And that's really about it. I've seen recalls on much worse things on other cars. The Honda Pilot is just overall a great SUV. It has great cargo space, great gas mileage, and it's a pretty high quality car, especially being from Honda, which has a great reputation. Overall, I like the Honda Pilot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Holy crap, it is hot in here. Why did I wear a sweatshirt on a summer day? Because I didn't have laundry.